Hi guys, happy Sunday with Satan. How is everybody? I hope everybody is well. This is very odd. I'm not live. I have gotten used to being live recording, so I don't have anybody to talk to but myself and you guys. So, everybody's been wondering about my Skull Legion. Well, alright, a long time ago I bought a book, one book, and it did inspire me to create a powerhouse, to construct this powerhouse for my ancestors to come through. I named it Legion because I have many, many, many ancestors. A lot of them. You can go back in biblical times and, you can kind of get your, if you want to, even dip your toes in that stuff. I wouldn't, but you can see where, Jesus cast out Legion, which Legion means of many names. So my skull, his name is Legion, and it's dedicated to my ancestors. It gives them a mouthpiece. Traditionally, it should be a human skull. No, I can't. That's way, way, way too expensive. I would have to remortgage. It would put me in debt until I'm dead, and my non-existent kids' grandparents, kids' grandchildren would be in debt. So that's, how much it costs to get an actual human skull. Animal skulls, if they're given to me, and they're already cleaned, like, for instance, well, Legion's gone, obviously, he took a hike. Like, you guys always see my staff, my stang, those were already cleaned. They have been cleaned for about 22 years, so everything that I have on my altar, I have deer antlers. Everything that I do have animal related, bones, that's been used, like chicken bones. I bleach them myself. They've all been, every part of the animal's been used. I'm just about using animal parts. My animal activist side of me is like straightforward today. So, but yeah, I named it Legion, so my ancestors come freely, and I gave them a giant powerhouse, a very nice spiritual home to come and visit if they want to. They don't have to. They're free to leave. They're free to go. Sometimes they get passerbys, people just coming in to say hi. So I attribute quite a bit of, there's some paranormal, quote, activity. So normal activity for the average medium or witch. Obviously, you all know that. Every witch and psychic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, you guys know that it's a normal thing for all of us to deal with and coexist with the dead every single day. So, my Skull Legion. Alright. This actually came from a head shop, and it is a replica. He has a mask on right. That's the mask for Pan or Azazel. So, that is the mask that I had put on him for right now. And it just kind of, I love that mask. So I did decorate that mask. That is a living piece of art. And I do wear that mask. It is ritual. A ritual mask. Now let me get this off without breaking it, because it is quite delicate. It's very delicate. So, I know you all remember when we did the mask magic, and that was the mask. Kind of matches my hair. So I love this thing. It's very fun. It's very cool. It's got the feathers. So yeah, it's very different, very unique. Rose petals for the nose. So yes, that was for Azazel, for Pan, Baphomet, the horned one, Old Horny, the goat. So yes, that was one of the masks that we did, 2 summers ago? Is that how long that's been? So I have worn this, but it stays on Legion, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it has a connection in some way to that skull. Okay, let me put this up to where I don't break it. So yeah, that is one incredible piece of art that took me forever to create. I love it. It's amazing. So, alright, traditionally all of these skulls should have on top I think it's the tetragrammatron, only I put the tetragrammatron on a piece of nice paper, activated it with blood, sigil magic, and then I put Legion on top of it. So here he is. He is a replica resin skull, and I got him at a head shop. I mean, it's a very, 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 eerie replica. Very eerie replica. The jaw does come off, and that gives... Look at that. That is so realistic. So, the jaws, they come off. Why? To give them a mouth, so that they can speak. Some people claim that they literally hear them speak. I've heard a few things come from Legion. Usually it's ancestors, not my grandma, not my Ganny, but other ancestors. So this is their home. This is a place for them to come. It's a powerhouse. It's a necromancy tool. So when I'm working with the dead, with my ancestors, that, or anybody else's ancestors, they're all welcome to come in and say hello. And yes, I do love my Legion. So that is what that is for. All the sigils are alchemical sigils. I will not go into detail on what they are. You guys should already know that. It gives them a piece to talk. So they've all been activated. And it doesn't talk. It literally does not talk. But you get such a sense of it's so surreal. It's a very surreal piece. A very, very surreal piece of the jawbone and everything. And so the jaw does come off. And that is for it to talk. It's a mouthpiece. So yeah, that is very, very realistic from what I've seen. From what I have seen. He's got some yellow teeth. So very realistic. That is the inside of the skull. I know that looks very realistic and very kind of disturbing. So some don't have the mouthpieces. Some do. I want mine to talk. So I'm a very talkative person. I like to communicate with the spirits, with the spirit world, with the dead, with the ethereal beings, with my ancestors, with other people's ancestors, and this is my help. My helper. So he helps me. Legion, he, she, many, many ancestors are allowed to come and just rest if they want to. So that is how I actually channel for you guys. So his head there, yeah, I don't know if I put his, there we go, that's how the mouthpiece goes on. So there. And he's he's resin casted. And it's just very cool. You can see how the jawbone hinges. I think this is for an anatomy class. Anatomy. Because it has the cranium and all of that good stuff in there. So all the sigils. So he's been my buddy for a long time. Probably about coming up on 10 years I've had him. He's dusty. He's very dusty. So yes, that is what I use him for. Now, where did I get the idea? Where did I get the idea for him? Very difficult to keep him in place. She, it embodies a lot of different spiritual energies. So, it's a spiritual powerhouse. So, I did find one thing useful in The Witch's Book of the Dead. Something that was very useful. So, I took it and I put my own spin on it, just like you should. So, here's an excerpt from The Witch's Book of the Dead, which I think, I have my opinions about it, but I love this part of the book. There are very good parts of this book. So, there are truths in everything. That's the Hermeticism coming out. So, to quote, "The skull. If someone were to ask me what I would choose if I could only keep one of my many magical tools, my answer would be Robert, the human skull that resides on the altar of the dead in my shop. I inherited Robert from my departed best friend and business partner, blank blank, who passed into the spirit in the year to blah blah blah. Blank was one of the most magical people that I've ever known, and he taught me the ways of necromancy and spirit work. Blank ordered his 2 skulls, which are named Robert and Claudia, from boneroom.com. So evidently you can go to bone, B-O-N-E, room, R-O-O-M.com, a website and retail shop based in Albany, California, that specializes in bones, both human and animal. So I'm guessing I did take a peek at that website. They are very ethical, how they get all of their things. It's very ethical, so it's very good. So when Blank died, my coven sister Blank Blank received Claudia. I became the caretaker for Robert. An honor I cherish deeply, as I know the power inherent in this most ancient tool of magic. So, the greatest tool a witch can possess is a human skull, if possess is the right word, for we are caretakers and the dead are equal partners in our magic. So, again, we agree on coexisting with the dead, a very good thing. So, where'd I go? Where did I go? So, if you truly seek to walk the ways of witchcraft, you should consider obtaining a skull, for it is quite literally a doorway to the spirit world. To fully become a witch, you must be able to talk and to walk in the worlds of the living and of the spirits. You don't have to. No, you do not have to be able to walk in both worlds. Have an understanding of both worlds. Have a mutual coexistence with both worlds. So, bones of all different creatures can connect us to the other side. The bone of a wolf, for example, will connect us more fully to the spirit vibration of the wolf. Thus, the human skull connects us to a legacy of our own humanity. The great river of DNA that reaches into the deepest places of the long history of our species. Through the skull, we are able to draw upon the entire spectrum of the spirit realms, calling on information and sending out our will upon the spectral winds. So the skull you choose and how you choose it is important. The spirit and legacy of the person whose skull will absolutely influence the magic you do with it. So, since I did not get an actual human skull, which I'm very grateful for, I really don't think I would be comfortable with someone's skull, cranium on my altar. I wouldn't. No, I think that's gross. So, you can't always know to whom the skull once belonged, but you should be able to use your psychic ability in a visionary state to tap into the skull before you purchase it. So that's why I just made sure that I went to a head shop and made sure I got a replica resin made. And they're not very cheap. The replicas are not cheap at all. So this can be done in person or even with a skull you may have an online picture of, since psychic ability works across great distance, and that's very true, it does. You will want to get a skull that does not have much negativity associated with it. That is why I went with that one. why I went with that one. So, the condition of the skull can also be crucial depending on what you're using it for. So, according to lore, a skull that has a mandible or lower jaw is able to communicate the voices of spirits in the ancient tradition of the oracle head, what the Tibetans referred to as yama, and the early Hebrews called the obath. The Witch of Endor probably would have had an obath. These were often adorned with jewels, carvings, sacred metals, and other embellishments. So that is why I gave Legion the mask to wear. So a skull without a lower jaw, however, is considered to be silent, and is used primarily for calling the dead in magic, soliciting the spirits to perform tasks for you, which you'll learn about later, blah blah blah. Robert, the skull that blank works with, does not have a lower jaw, and thus this person focuses it for magic. So where you obtain the skull is also important, just as you don't want the skull of a serial killer, which is very true. I mean, it's going to have that energy stuck to it, that psychic imprint. So I do agree with that. So you should avoid the skull of someone who has been treated in a disrespectful way. We definitely don't recommend digging up Grandma to get her skull. Nobody even try. That's disgusting and illegal. This would be considered a desecration not only of her grave, but probably of her wishes as well. In ancient times, people would bequeath, their skulls to family members to carry on traditions of magic. But this practice is very rare today. So every sorcerer, every philosopher always had a human skull laying on their desk. So we can kind of go back in history and see where that came from, which is very, very cool. So, okay, and we must honor the wishes of our dead. If it is wiser to choose skulls that belong to people who donated themselves to the science for the advancement of medicine and other notable causes. This shows selflessness on the part of the donor. Robert was once just a man. And if you guys read this book, I mean, it really does have it's interesting, very interesting book, very interesting stories. So another good choice is a skull that was prepared in a spiritual way. BoneRoom.com offers several examples of the Tibetan yama, a skull that has been ritually prepared in a sacred manner and lovingly carved with Buddhist symbols. Blank gave my mentor, blank blank, a yama carved with a pair of Buddhist Dorje symbols of lightning forming an equitable cross, which is a very old symbol of protection and power. Very true. Very true. So finally, it is most important to obtain the skull in a legal manner. Legal. Make sure you get your skull legally. So this is, of course, the other reason you shouldn't dig up Grandma. Don't ever dig up your grandmothers. Please. It certainly wouldn't look good for the rest of the family if they had to bail you out of jail for desecrating her corpse. So again, please use... I do like the humor in the book. So again, please use a reputable source for such purchases. It's perfectly legal under federal law to purchase and possess a human skull. Certain states and municipalities may have their own rules, so check first. My state is perfectly okay. When you purchase a skull, you have got to make sure that you have it comes with a certificate. So you've got to make sure that you have that with you. Or if you don't, then I think you do get a fine of like $25,000. So, if in the worst case scenario you cannot obtain a true human skull that will not render your altar useless, you will simply want to obtain a representation of it. Perhaps a ceramic, resin, bronze, or my preferred substitution, a quartz crystal. I really think a quartz crystal skull would be incredible. That would be very incredible. I love my resin plaster one though. So while these materials will not contain the full power of a real skull, obviously no, never, it's not the real deal. When combined with your magical intent, they can be an effective doorway to spirit. So, that is all I took from that. That's all I took from that. And then I put my own twist on it. So, when I Ouija, it's always there. It's the mouthpiece. It's the doorway for others to come, other ancestors. I use it in a lot of when I'm working for other people, doing oils, doing spells for other people, magic work, ancestral work. I pull out Legion. I give him an offering, him, her, many names, and it works. So I do want to give you a little more sacred offerings and daily devotions that you can. I have incorporated quite a bit of, just not quite a bit of this, but just a little bit of this with Legion. So, your altar is now a true crossroads between the worlds of the living and the dead. You have those you have chosen to honor, and hopefully you also have your skull, though that can sometimes take time to acquire. It took a lot of time for me to find mine. So I hope that you at least have a worthy substitute. Now we can come to the real everyday work of the altar, the regular offerings that build the relationship. So, over time you build a relationship with your skull, your spirits, your ancestors, like you should before you start working with any kind of spirit forms of communication with spirit. So, where'd I go? Where'd I go? Oh. As I mentioned earlier, the spirits remember the joy of life once lived. And so leaving offerings of things that they enjoyed in life is an effective way of drawing their energy. The spirit of your departed grandmother is not likely to literally consume the chocolate chip cookie you leave it on the altar, but everything including that cookie. It's about the energy. It has a spiritual energy signature. And the dead, who are also made up of energy, will be drawn to the patterns of energy that they understand. So we are connecting. We are matching our energy vibrations with their energy vibrations to get our results. So, occasionally the spirits actually will consume the food you leave for them. I've never personally seen that happen. So I can't say if that's true or not. So, in 2007, some left a dirty martini for blank blank on the windowsill in the ballroom of blank blank, where blank hosts Salem's annual seance. No one went near the martini all night, as it sat behind the podium where blank spoke. When blank turned to retrieve it, the glass was empty. If anyone could have pulled off this trick from the spirit world, it was blank. So, to decide what offerings you should leave, think about what your loved ones liked. Everything that they liked. Was your mother partial to opium perfume? Did your grandfather like cigars? Was your nephew an avid reader of comic books? Did your great aunt have a penchant for expensive champagne? There are certainly more general offerings you can leave, but the most powerful are those that directly connect to the spirits that you are trying to work with. So, that is one amazing thing. So go with your gut. Always go with your gut first with that. So, more common offerings, though, through history include honey, wine, olive oil, flowers, a mixture of milk and honey, a fantastic libation of the dead. Honey wine, which is mead, sprinkled barley, fava beans. Where'd I go? Jewelry, your own hair, and resins of myrrh, copal, and other funerary incense. So, whenever you do this daily, weekly, or at least monthly, try to keep the connection flowing by leaving both the more common, universal offerings and those items that speak personally to the spirits that you are trying to attract. So that is one very good excerpt. Now I need my mouse pad back. So that's what I use my skull for. So yes, sometimes if, say, I'm petitioning an ancestor for healing or health, I will write the name and I'll put it inside. Right in there. I'll put it in a giant wooden bowl. At night, if we're doing revenge magic, darker magics, put the name of the person inside, roll it, put it in there, and then you know what to do from there. So I'm not going to give out that kind of information. But yes, it is a very wonderful thing to work with. I love this one. And he has just been with me forever now. Forever. And we have built a very good relationship. A very good relationship together. Haven't we? Yes, we have. So, I do have that book to thank for this. Because it was a very big inspiration. So thank you, Mr. Day, for the inspiration for this. This was incredible. One incredible. Thank you, Mr. Day, for my inspiration. I'm not a ventriloquist whatsoever. So yeah, I like to leave him. Ouch. There, which is basically right here is the red altar is kind of the necromancy altar. It's got the spirits of, well, it's got a piece of wood from where the little boy died here. His name was Dougie. I'll actually show you guys that piece of wood. So I kind of have everything, a little bit of my grandma, a little bit of my ancestors, Eli Popa. If you guys don't know who that is, Eli Popa, you can look him up. He was a very, very, he was a Romanian writer. He wrote a lot of books, and I will show you some of that stuff. So just a few things that I do. So, this was a piece of wood from the actual fire that happened in this house. As you guys can see the chart. Yeah, that actually happened here. Very, very bad energy. Well, not bad energy from this, but it's just very, very different. And yes, it's dirty. I keep my great uncle Eli, cousin, his book right there. So that is how I kind of think he comes. That's why I think I can write so well, and in such a different kind of my writing is not of this time period. It's either very advanced or very way far back in the whatever. So yes, it's a very old book. Amazing stuff. Nephew Eli. So a very, very, I love the smell of the old books. They're just incredible. So yeah, a play in 3 acts, Give Us This Day by Eli Popa. The Exposition Press, New York 7. So that was some of his stuff, and then part of the house, the history, just kind of paying my respects to this house. And then my grandma has her stuff on there too. I have my ancestral pot on there, all that good stuff. All of this was just amazing. So you guys can now see that Legion has his proper place. So, it's very excited for that. Very exciting. It's kind of cool. Everybody's been wondering what I do and what I do with it, and that's what I do. So I really do love it. I love using that. I love just having it. It gives a good vibe. You get a really good vibe from it. At first, I did cleanse it because so many people had touched it. It just had so much just weird energy stuck to it. So yes, of course, I cleansed it. It gets incense, so sometimes I'll light cone incense, copal, or dragon's blood, myrrh, frankincense. I'll put it underneath and then set Legion there so the smoke can just come out. I light candles next to him every single night, so there's a very deep connection, a very spiritual connection with me, my ancestors, coexisting together. That's why it's so much easier for me to coexist with the dead than it is the living. So we got that going for us. We had that going. What else was I gonna say? I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, yeah, that's pretty much all with Legion. That's pretty much all with him. So, literally, Legion is just many names. So I don't attribute evil to Legion like other people are going to. So I know people are going to disagree. So it's okay. It's good. It's good as long as it is constructive. But I mean, Legion's never going to change. So that's not going to be worth arguing over. Everybody got their oils. Everybody got their oils in one day. Georgia. Who did I ship to Georgia? If you did not get your oil, I had one person that I had to ship. Yeah, I did get shipped Thursday. It got shipped Thursday. So everybody got their oils on Saturday. No, Friday I shipped it. Everybody got their oils on Saturday. Holy shit, you guys. The feedback on my Love and Lust oil, holy crap. I don't know. It's your intentions too. So what you put into what you're doing, your work, it only boosts. The oil only boosts. So it's up to you guys too. Your intentions, everything that you want from the oil you're going to get. So make sure you are very, very careful of what you want, because you're going to get it. The feedback for the Love and Lust oil, wow. I was literally laughing, and I was very happy for the person that got that oil. I am very, very, very happy that it worked in such a way that it did. And it worked. Obviously, you guys know what Love and Lust does. So there we go. So yeah, you guys ask me now, well, how do you make those oils? You all see me, you all watch me. You watch me make them. I never show you what oils I put in to any of my recipes. All my recipes are channeled. I channel them, I dream them, I hear them, I smell them, and then I just note them down in my papyrus journal, the Egyptian papyrus journal that my sister got me. This altar, though, this has been here, right here, this entire room. I have been using it for my temple since I moved in here 17 years ago, almost 20 years ago. So over time, a place will generate spiritual energy, and it's very positive, it's very good, it's very amazing energy, and it gets charged. So all these oils get charged etherically in the auditum, which is the etheric temple, with Isis and Thoth and Ta and Osiris and Anubis. So they all get charged that way as well, along with Seshet and Hathor. And then they get charged physically too, and then they actually set on the altar some of them set for about a week, so it just depends on the potency. Some I feel need to set longer and get charged up, amped up more. So that's how that happens. That's why I think that you guys are feeling so much energy from the oils. So it really is, it's an amazing thing to do. It's fun to do. I love it. I love that you guys love your oils. It's great. Just the feedback though, the feedback is amazing. I've never been happier. Never been happier. I've never shipped so many oils in my entire life. I've never shipped so much in my entire life. It was crazy. It was very crazy to ship that much. It's amazing. And the ladies into the post office are always, they always have to comment, or say something or ask something to do their makeup, stuff like that. I live in a pretty tiny town, so you're known. Once you have an image, that image right here, Ouija, it sticks with you forever. Doesn't go away ever. So once they get past all this and aren't scared anymore, then they start asking the questions. Well, what are you doing? What are you shipping? What are you mailing? Essential oils, all natural, 100% natural, organic, essential oils for aromatherapy, perfumery, that kind of stuff. Stuff to trigger the brain. Because aromatherapy, it triggers the brain, it triggers chemicals in the brain, like music, literally. It changes us on a cellular level, on how we feel, how we act, everything. It changes our emotions instantly. So aromatherapy in conjunction with music, amazing. Aromatherapy in conjunction with your previous, always make sure you are always seeing your doctor first, in conjunction with aromatherapy, music therapy, spiritual practices, meditation. It just all blends so well together. It's just a blend of amazingness, awesomeness. So that is why I think my oils have such a punch to them. So that's basically, yes, my explanation for why they're so potent. So I hope the one in Georgia, I hope you, sorry, my nail. I hope you got it. I don't really know what part of Georgia that was. I know some mail is delayed for some states because of all the hurricanes. It's crazy and that's sad, and I hope everybody down south is safe. East Coast, I know you guys are getting something too. It's coming up the East Coast. It's, it's Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. So, Miami, I don't know if you got your oil. Miami Beach, I know you had to evacuate. I've been trying to talk to you and it says user unavailable, and that kind of scares me, but then I see you pop up into my live chats and then I'm like, oh my god, you're safe, thank you gods. So it's all depending on what's going on literally with the weather. I did not know the weather could have that much of an impact on shipping, and it does. It really, really does. It's crazy. So international orders, all shipped. Hopefully they get there. I've had it returned to me twice, so a third time's a charm, right? It should get there this time. God's willing. I just hope it does. Because it's very expensive to ship. Switzerland is cheaper than Canada. Don't understand it. I don't understand that. A lot of places are cheaper to ship. Canada is the most expensive to ship to, for me. So I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. It's just customs. I don't know. So it's very different. Very different shipping worldwide. But I'm just very glad that my oils are in different areas and literally worldwide now. Hopefully worldwide. I know that one made it to Japan, which makes me very excited because I do have my lovely guy that makes my clothes for me from Japan. I found a new one, so very grateful for that. Thank you. And I'm just very, very excited and very grateful for it. So I hope that explains a bit of Legion and of my oils and just a little history, a little more history on the house, my house, and just, what goes on here. And I don't know, sometimes I think my insomnia is caused by my skull. Could be. Could very well be. I wouldn't put it past it. So, but yes, if you guys do get that book, it is a good book. That's all I'll say, really. That's all I have to say. It's not terrible. There's way better books out there on the topic of necromancy. So if you can, go to those sources, but don't, disregard that source. Just take what rings true to you, put your twist on it. There you go. That's what I did. Perfect. Works great. I never have anything negative happen to me. Cheers to that. Throat's really sore today, so it's really hard to swallow. Allergies. Cold. Fall is here. It is nice too. It's gorgeous. So, I keep releasing trailers for Ouija Pop, the Death Dimension. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited. I'm very excited for that. That will actually happen. It's going to happen. And I can't believe it. I really can't. So, alright guys. I hope you had a good day. I hope you guys have a good day. And yes, I am more than willing to hop back on and do live oracle readings, tarot readings. Sometimes I don't realize that it turns into the dead they just start to come. One person, I start to pick up on them. It just comes. Sometimes it gets too much. Tarot wears me out. Oracle cards empower me. So I'm going to be focusing more on the oracle cards. Last night in Nundal, in my meditations and visitations, Isis told me, and Thoth both, and Ta, Osiris, and Anubis all told me to focus more on the oracle cards, whereas the oracle cards are going to uplift us and give us divine inspiration and messages, whereas the tarot, you really have to focus, and you really drains you. It drains you. So I have never had that problem now, but now I'm having that problem of the tarot draining me. And it just takes too much energy out of me. As the Ouija, the Ouija, it just pumps me up. It gets me going. It's great. So, yeah, definitely we'll be doing more of those. I'm glad that you guys like that too. So, just all kinds of new stuff is going to be happening throughout this year and this winter. And the winter of 2018 is when the Death Dimension will actually be out. And I do plan on having it on DVD. So you guys can, Blu-ray and DVD, so you guys can all have it and pre-order it. So when I get all of that together, I'm a one-person show. I'll let you guys know. So, alright guys, I'll see you all either live later or I will see you guys tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed and thank you for watching. I love you all very, very, very much. With all my heart, all the way from Venus back down to you guys. So I love you all very much, and thank you guys for watching. Oh, I thought I shut it off. Okay, bye guys.